Oh, hey guys, it's Jason just playing a little Nintendo Switch here. I didn't know you were here. Welcome to AFK Discussions. Tonight we have an incredible show. Also, check out fattack.com for all your needs. I don't know, I'm just goofing off. How's it going, Phil?
Yeah, who is this new character that you got going on here?
I don't know. I was inspired by the guy I was watching on Instagram earlier.
Yeah, I can clearly see that.
Yeah. So I found this guy on Instagram. He's like a teenager and he's like talking about his outfit. And he's like, oh, look, my outfit is total dripping today. I got these Jordans on. And he's just talking like that. And that's what inspired it. What's his name? I need to give him a shout out. Hold on. Let's find this guy's name.
Look up what his name and I will promote FatTack real quick. FatTack is our sponsor. So please go and check fattack.com out. They got holsters. They got AFK discussion logos on holsters. They have an amazing, incredible merchandise. So please go over there, buy some merch, and make sure you let them know that AFK discussions sent you. And what is the guy's name?
His name is Waxsun22.
Right now? Oh my goodness. I'm Mary shoes. Louis belt, sunglasses inside because my future's so bright I gotta wear them? Oh my gosh, dude! Literally, nobody can even compete with this.
A lot of energy.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
A lot of energy there. So, yeah. So there we are, AFK Discussions. We have a very special guest. I think we should just introduce her because I don't want to chit-chat too much and just kind of get lost in the shuffle here. So,
yeah.
Midnight in the Mountains, Laura. Not Lauren. Jason messed it up before. And no, I'm just kidding. I messed it up. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. So let's without any further ado, let's bring her up. So here she is. Hello, how are you?
Hey.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Good. Absolutely good. Yeah. Can't complain whatsoever. Thank you for joining us on another episode of AFK Discussions. We have an incredible amount of things to talk about. But before we go any further, did I just see Prime? Yeah, sponsor the show. Prime, not yet, but
nope. Ghost.
Oh, okay.
Forget all that Prime stuff. Ghost.
We'll let the viewers decide. And then Tinfoil's back this week. So I know he was excited because he was commenting on a couple of videos I had about Puckwudgies and had some theories that I'm sure he'll probably mention in the chat. But anyway, awesome. Here we are, AFK Discussions. Laura's here. I know we have like a myriad of things we want to talk about. Jason, do you want to just kick it off with a topic? Well, you can pick one of the things we were already talking about if you want. I don't know where you want to start.
Where do I want to start? So, okay, I'll just start here because Laura had taken some incredible photos from this investigation she wanted. Would you say investigation or just like a ghost hunt, where you go and just kind of do your thing with not really like investigating? What would you call it?
Kind of both. Because like I just started going to places, so I don't really have anything. I had a pair of dowsing rods, but I returned them because I didn't like the way they felt in my hands. But like I just bought a new recorder, which was super exciting. And I just went through my recordings last night and I was like, please let there be an EVP. And there's nothing I can hear. I was so bummed. But like my friends that I go with, they just have book bags and cases and rolling cases full of gear. So it's God. I don't even need anything, but I do want to get my own stuff eventually. So yeah it's definitely like both. For sure.
Awesome.
As far as new equipment, sorry to jump in. As far as equipment that you want to get on your own, what are your like main things that you're like, oh man, I really want to have this as part of my like investigation tools?
For sure, dowsing rods, because I don't know, like I like the electronic stuff, but I also just kind of like to go off how I'm feeling in the situation, and I kind of just like a dowsing rods because they're just copper wires. They're not anything electrical or anything like that. And my friend told me that he's another like researcher investigator. He said he would give me a pair that he was gifted that he doesn't use. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll try those out. I don't know, maybe like a REM pod or something. Probably I've seen people have like an Ovilus, which is really cool. want those.
Yeah, those are definitely all a great starting points for sure. Obviously, like you probably already have audio recorders and stuff. Like that's the most basic thing you can do, which you already have. So yeah, I mean, the REM pod's great. A lot of people like dowsing rods, just like another form of, you know, I think they're interesting because you can definitely use them for like finding water and stuff as well.
Mhm.
That's what I think it's most interesting about the dowsing rod. Yeah, so that's cool. I like that. So definitely interesting. So Jason, go ahead. You can.
Yeah.
I know you had a question right after mine.
Yeah, so I was going to say, we were talking a little bit on Instagram, and she was telling me about this place. I cannot remember the name of it because it has kind of a something orange in there in penitentiary.
It's
Go ahead.
it's Mid-Orange Correctional Facility. It's in Warwick. If that's a hard word to say, New York.
Okay, cool. But you were telling me about how they were like renovating some of it, and
Yes. Oh, I hate it so much. It totally bums me out because like it's this, just to give a quick background on it, I had seen something where it was built in 1914 and used for something else, but I had only seen that one spot. I was trying to dig a little deeper and I came up with nothing, but in 1932 it was used as like a boys reformatory place, and then by 1976 it got switched to a prison, like a men's prison, medium security, and then it closed in 2011. And yeah, that's pretty
Dang.
much.
So it was like active for a long time till 20.
Yeah. And so now I guess it got sold and it sat kind of abandoned for a while, and then I don't know, somebody bought it and they're turning it into like a sports complex. So like you get there and the one main building, I guess, that used to be the officers building is now turned into kind of like you walk in and there's vending machines and there's an office and like you go pay or whatever, and there's bathrooms and stuff in there, and then you walk out and you walk out onto this big fake turf, like grass turf with all these soccer nets and all these big stadium lights around, and then here's the field, and behind it is all these old brick buildings from the early 1900s. It's like, what's going on here? It's just a weird vibe.
That is very weird.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like if they, have a soccer game, because fans can get kind of rowdy at times. I wonder if that energy just amps everything
Ooh,
up.
I
That would
didn't
be
think of
interesting to
that.
find out. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did hear that like my other friends had been there before, and they said that they would get there when there was games going on, and eventually they would leave because we had it rented out from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome. No, that's definitely interesting. Makes you wonder, really. You know what I mean? Especially like what Jason said about the games and all those people being there.
Mhm.
Does it kick up some paranormal activity in the Bills buildings? Makes you wonder.
Yeah, I
Um,
never even thought of that. That's a really good point.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so that's cool. No, that sounds it sounds like a really interesting place and definitely a spot we'll have to keep on my radar because yeah, I'm always looking for new places to check out, and seems like a pretty cool spot to check out. So
It's amazing. It's, first of all, it's huge, and we weren't even allowed in one of the buildings because it's so overgrown. Like when you first pull in, there's a huge building off to the side, and we weren't allowed in there. And then the rest of the buildings we were allowed in, but there was dorm rooms. There was a set of dorm rooms, and then behind that there was another building of dorms, and we wanted to go in there, but it's so overgrown, and of course it's the middle of summer, so we had to be careful because there's definitely snakes around. So I wasn't messing with that. If it had been, like late fall or winter and been cold out and I had, like boots on, I definitely would have went back there for sure.
Yeah. I don't mess with snakes.
No.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. We don't have time for that.
Not even harmless snakes. I don't care.
No.
Get a
Yeah,
snake
right?
out my face.
Yeah.
I don't care what kind of snake it is.
Yeah, right.
If I see a snake, I'm like screaming and running the opposite direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're not expecting it, for sure.
Yeah.
No.
You just look down as a snake slithering over your boot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to do a mention. You remember Anti-Nintendo from last week, Jason, right?
Yes.
He's back. He just has a different name, so that's why we didn't recognize his name. So I just wanted to mention that. He's now Tinfoil Wizard Cryptid Master. I mean,
That's awesome.
That
is a great name.
That's an incredible name. Absolute incredible name. So shout out to him.
So are you a tinfoil wizard or are you a wizard cryptid master? That's what I know. I want to know.
Right. Well, if he
Which
responds
part of the wizard,
back,
tinfoil wizard or
Right.
wizard cryptid master?
Right.
Yeah. So are you made out of tinfoil,
Right.
or are you a master of cryptids? I don't know.
Or maybe he just wears a tinfoil hat and is a wizard of cryptid masters, and the wizard part of him is the tinfoil part, and it's just shaped like a wizard cap.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just broke it down. So that's what you came here for, honestly, is conversation like that.
He said wizard cryptid master. So
There it is. He says he's a wizard cryptid master. So, all right. Huge shout out. No, he's been in the comments of the last few weeks. So yeah, big shout out to you. All right, where do we want to go from here? You want to just talk about Pennhurst?
Yeah, let's talk Pennhurst, because
we can talk about Pennhurst for a while.
Yeah, I have never been, and Laura has never been.
Nope.
Phil, you're the only one that's been. Yeah. And I mean, I've seen a lot of specials and all the ghost hunters. I mean, pretty much anyone has been to Pennhurst. So yeah, I know a lot about it, but I just have never been.
Yeah, so it's an incredible place. As far as like the history, for those people who don't know, it's located in Pennsylvania, Spring City, Pennsylvania. It originally started as a school for the feeble-minded. It's just a different terminology that they used back then. And so it was a school where developmentally disabled children would go, and they'd be sent there. They would live there. And of course, in those days, any kid that had any type of disability would be sent there. And not even just mental, like, or learning disabilities. We're talking about like cryptomaniacs, or like the list of things, and was very, very long. As far as, it wasn't just like people that had learning disabilities. It was many different other things that they all kind of categorized as one thing, and they called it feeble-mindedness. And it started probably in the I think it was early 1900s, maybe the 30s. I don't remember the exact date of when the first place opened, but they had a lot of farms there. They made the children work and stuff, kind of self-sufficient. And then kind of it gets bigger and bigger over the years, becomes more overpopulated. And this kind of all comes to a head in the 1960s, where this local TV station, I forget the guy's name to give him credit, but he had found out, I don't know how he had found out, maybe anonymous tip, something. He finds out what's going on at Pennhurst, so he goes there to document it, does a documentary on the abuse happening there, how the people are being treated, and does, like, I forget how many parts, maybe a 6-part series, 4 to 6-part series on TV that really documented all this horrible things. We're talking about kids and children that didn't know how to walk because they were in beds their entire lives, because they didn't have enough nurses to put down mattresses so they could learn how to crawl. So therefore they never learned how to crawl. So they couldn't learn how to walk. So then, like, okay, well, these people can't do it. We're just going to put them in beds all day. And so that's what they did. And so they had a lot of people in beds, defecating themselves, not being able to be changed, because for every nurse, there's 50 patients, or I think it was something like that, maybe 25. And then for every doctor, like 50 patients, one doctor, something like that. It was absurd. So that even if by the time they got done, like, changing them all or feeding them, it would already be ready to, like, feed them again. So, like, they just didn't have a lot of time to, like, do things. And so a lot of abuse happened. Obviously not even just that stuff, physical abuse between patients, physical abuse between doctors and patients. Obviously, sexual abuse gets involved as well, because there's not a lot of people watching, and just a lot of bad things. So the documentary is called "Suffer of the Little Children." It's on YouTube. Anyone can go check that out. I highly recommend it. If you've never seen anything about Pennhurst, it'll give you a really graphic view of. I mean, they do bleep stuff out and stuff, or, like, but it'll give you a view of, like, what it was really like there. So these people really, really suffered there for sure. And I'll tell you one more story about like how another part of like, so if a patient was like violent with another patient or a doctor, nurse, whatever, they get one chance. If they did it again, or I think maybe if they bit someone, if they bit someone and they did it more than once, they would just rip all their teeth out. They would just go bring them to the dentist, rip all their teeth out, and in most cases without anesthesia, which is awful.
Yeah.
And I know that is true because we were walking through one of the buildings, the infirmary building, and this is where the dentist's office was, like literally right outside the dentist's office where all these horrible things happen. Ripping people's teeth out without anesthesia. And that's what it was. If they couldn't say they wanted anesthesia, they wouldn't give them anesthesia. That's what the caveat was. Look, I'm just remembering this all right now. So I'm standing outside this room. I'm literally just told the same story I just told you. And then right inside that room, I think we were like, oh man, who wouldn't want anesthesia? And right inside that room, someone says, yeah, so super, super sad. That's kind of like the history of Pennhurst. But yeah, just a wild place, a wild, wild place. Yeah, that's kind of like the history. I've been there. God, I've been there probably like 3 times, 2 times to do like paranormal investigations there. Every single time caught a lot of crazy things there. But I feel like I'm talking too much. So I'll just open it up for discussion now about Pennhurst if you want.
I have something to add to that. Because like I'm going in September and my friends have been there a few times. And my one friend, this is actually the first conversation I ever had with my friend. I was at a party and I sat down next to him and I had heard that he was a paranormal investigator. And I was like, oh, because I had like just started the podcast and I was like, so tell me about this. What happens, what goes on? Because I was just, wanting to do all this stuff. And he actually showed me a picture of one time that he was at Pennhurst. I think it's been twice now that he's gotten bit supposedly at Pennhurst. And
Really?
it was like through a sweatshirt. And he showed me a picture and he's like, if you look at it, you can see it's not a full bite mark, that there's teeth missing out of it. And I was just like, holy crap.
Wow.
Like, that's crazy stuff.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that's wild. Especially now with the history too. You're like, holy moly, that's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is nuts. Yeah, Pennhurst is a crazy place. It's wild. I found about Pennhurst a long time ago. I was in college, so it was like 06, because I went to college in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, which is like a town over from Spring City. And what's really weird about it is I didn't know about Pennhurst until I went to a youth convention, because I went to a Christian college. So I went to this youth convention in Connecticut and met someone that went to the same school I did. And he's like, he was telling us about Pennhurst. And it's like, oh yeah, we used to go there, explore it. So I was like, oh, he told us about it, told us how to get in, told us where to park and stuff. So that by the time we got back to college, we're like, oh my God, we have to go there. We went online, we downloaded all these maps and all this stuff, like as much information as we could. Of course, this is back in this is 06. This is a long time ago. So like back in 06, like it was still abandoned. Like it wasn't open for like public yet. Not only that, like everything was still in there. So when we went in, it was nuts. It was nuts. So when we went in there in 06, we went during the day to scope it out. We found like how to get there and stuff. So like, all right, we know how to get in. We'll park here. We'll come back at night. So we went back at night. We park. We go walking in, and we go walking in like where the infirmary is now. Well, what I know to be the infirmary now, and then we kind of like go downstairs into like the tunnels and stuff. And the first section of tunnels was like completely flooded. Like the stairs were flooded. We couldn't even get down there. So we go down another set of tunnel and we finally get down below. And in one of the big rooms, they have like all these kids polio braces, like polio, the kids braces and all that kind of stuff. So they had a bucket full of these braces, which is creepy. And all of these like children's restraining chairs, like little teeny chairs where like they would like strap their neck back or their arms down, the neck back, kind of that kind of thing. Probably if they were violent or something. Just a lot of like, just everything was there, like documents and I mean, you name it, it was there. It was crazy. And this is like obviously a long time ago now. So it's not back in those days that there was still like a lot of stuff in there and it wasn't as damaged and stuff. Even back then I was into ghosts, but like I wasn't like a paranormal investigator. We were just going because we were like this is cool. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there was a couple times inside Pennhurst where we had to shut the lights off because we're like, oh, there's someone around. We hear somebody, down the hall. And of course there's no one there. So yeah, and actually, I'll tell you a crazy story about like Pennhurst, so leading out. So we not investigate. I shouldn't say that. We walked around the place, and then we're like, all right, we need to get out of here because we saw cops kind of like circling the buildings and stuff. So we're like, all right, well, I think we've extended our stay. We've got to get out of here before the cops show up. And so then we're about to leave. We're like kind of like outside the building in like this wooded area near like one of the streets that they have right near there. And so we're like kind of debating whether or not we're like going to leave or stay. Should we wait for the security to drive by, then leave? So that way we know we're not going to get caught in the road with them there. And then I'm telling you, I don't know if this is God or if this is whatever. It's very strange. So all of a sudden, a large, like something big or branch or something snaps and like falls down to the ground. And so as soon as we hear that, we all like fall to the ground. All the lights are off. We're just like laying there. And as soon as that happens, we're all laying there. A cop car drives by on that same road that we were going to walk on, driving like 50 miles an hour. You would have hit us, no doubt. And so as soon as you see that, we're like, all right, we all get up. We're like, let's go. And so, yeah, we ran out of there. We made it out and all that stuff. But that was my first Pennhurst experience. So
That's wild. I'm jealous.
Yeah. Yep. It was just it was so much cooler back then, just because, like I said, everything was in there. Talking like paperwork just laying around and like all the beds and stuff, like everything was still in there. It was wild.
That's
whereas
so
now,
cool.
Yeah. Whereas now, like there's less stuff. It's mostly just like a lot of empty rooms. They do have some stuff from the old stuff, but a lot of stuff got destroyed over the years, unfortunately. But yeah.
Yeah, that's how like at Mid Orange, there's this one. I think we were in the one main building. So I mean, it's just I don't understand where it was a school at one point too, like classrooms. So if you go through, I mean, there's so many buildings in this, or so many rooms in these buildings. It's literally like a maze. Like if you could easily get lost in there if you were by yourself or weren't paying attention. And it's like the one level, if you go downstairs, there's this whole like thing where you'd have to buzz to get in. And then they have the glass where you would go speak at the window. And that's like on the lower level below the classrooms. And then if you go into that office in there, they have all these keys. Like it's really cool looking. There's all these hooks with all these keys and numbers. And then they have like a whole box of cards. I don't know what they were for. They have different things like, I think I saw one that said like boys bathroom or something on it, like 1986. And I took a picture of that one and I'm just going through and there's all these like stuff. And then there was books on the shelf of like, kind of like binders filled with papers, but I didn't go through those. Cause it's like, we had it for so long. I left at 12:45. I didn't stay till 2 because I had to drive all the way home and then be up for work the next morning. But I mean, most of the time when I was there, I just spent exploring because it's so overwhelming. There's so much cool stuff to see that I didn't really investigate a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially like a big place like that. Pennhurst is just like that too. It's so massive. And I think what people don't realize is before you go there is that all those underground tunnels are all connected.
Oh,
now, yeah. So like back in the day, you could go from one building to another without having to go outside at all.
Mid Orange had those and we went down and then someone, because we kind of split up. There was maybe like 9 of us all together, but we were in different groups. And the one girl had called my friend saying that the tunnels were flooded. And I was like, what? There's tunnels underneath here? And he's like, yeah, we normally go through them, but they're, it's kind of like what you were saying, that they're connected and you could go through underground. And I was super bummed out because they were definitely had a couple inches of water in the bottom and I wasn't messing with that.
Yeah, that stinks. And yeah, because I hope we can make this happen because I want to go to Pennhurst again so bad. Those tunnels in Pennhurst, are next level for sure.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, like the one area, like that's where we caught a full body apparition down in one of those tunnels.
Oh my gosh!
Which is absolute. I still can't believe it happened. And what's really crazy about the whole experience it's not one of those things that like, somebody saw some one thing and no one else saw it. Multiple people saw this thing like a shadow down the hallway. We take a picture and then we catch it. And what's really strange is, of course, the girl that was like leading us, because I guess I'll set it up a little bit better. So when you go to Pennhurst, when you're doing the group investigations and stuff, they'll bring you to an area and they'll basically tell you the haunts. They'll basically tell you a little bit of the history of that area, so that way you're kind of familiar. You know who to ask for, that kind of stuff. So she's explaining, doing that. She's doing that bit, and this is the first part of the investigation. So no one has been in this tunnel at all. We're the first group, so there shouldn't be anyone down there but us. So behind her, there's like this plastic sheet, maybe like, I don't know, 40 feet down the tunnel, and behind it, when we snap the picture, it looks like a figure of a man like standing behind the sheet, like, kind of making himself look big, kind of a thing. Super, super creepy, especially because in that tunnel specifically, there's a entity or man down there, but a lot of people think it's him because that's what he claims to be. But he's the one that people think that like is the sexually assaulter guy, and the one that, so like he really likes girls and young women and that kind of stuff. And it kind of played out that way too, because there was a couple of moments where the word bank, when I was near one of the like a few of the other girls, it said like honey, and stuff like it, kind of stuff like that. And then of course to get the figure, you're like, well, but yeah. So you will definitely enjoy the tunnels. The tunnels are absolutely wild. I mean, Pennhurst in general is absolutely wild. And every time I go back, they open up more and more. So I'm excited for you guys to go there, because it's going to be absolutely incredible. You guys will definitely catch stuff there.
Yeah, well, my one friend that's going with us, that is like one of his, like, that's his side job. He is a tour guide at Pennhurst. So I'm like, this is so sick, because we are going to have the whole place to ourselves with somebody that actually works there, but it's just us. I'm like, this is going to be so freaking cool. But if I can definitely, we should have room. I talked to the girl in charge of booking it and stuff, and she just has to like double check and go over stuff. But you can definitely come if we have extra space, for sure.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And I have been there before, so I can I'll go over all my videos too before I go, and I'll be like, all right, these are the places where we had a lot of activity, because I mean, there's many places where like we caught a bunch of EVPs in there, like throughout the entire complex. And like I said, there's even newer places that they opened up that I haven't even been into yet. So that's what I like about Pennhurst the most, because like you can go like year to year, and every single year you go back, there's like something new.
That's really cool that they do that, because you would think it would be the opposite, if stuff's deteriorating.
Yeah, it's more of like they're trying to get to all of it, and they're kind of doing like a little bit as they can, kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a really creepy story from my friend. If you guys want to hear about it,
yeah, definitely.
Let's hear it.
The tour guide, I guess he was trying to do, I forget where he said he was, but he was trying to do an EVP session, and I guess there was a little girl ghost there, and they were talking to her, and he had a group of people there, and he was asking questions, and he's saying, "Oh, do you like dogs? I have a dog at home." And right there, after he said it, he was like, "Oh shoot, what did I just do?" And I totally believe him. I mean, he said that it was either that night or a couple nights after that or something, he was sleeping, and he felt like, I guess he woke up and he felt like there was something in front of him, and he opened his eyes, and he said there was just this little girl sitting there like swaying back and forth, just staring at him. And then he said he would see shadows, go around the corner and stuff, and he'd have dreams about this little girl and stuff. So last time I asked him, she was still with him. So I don't know because I said to him, I'm like, "Do you have Palo Santo? Do you have sage? What are you doing?" And I don't think he said he did any of that stuff, but I don't know. I hope she moved on or something.
Yeah, or at least it is a little girl.
That too. Yeah.
Because like, yeah, that could go. I think Jason was mentioned that before, like in another episode. Like usually when you hear the little girl thing, you're like, oh no.
No.
You're like, oh no.
That's like at Burnbrae, mansion, they say there's a little girl named Ellie there. And my first gut reaction the first time I went there, I was like, but is it really a little girl ghost? I really don't think she's there. I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about like demonic entities pretending to be kids. So it's not a good thing.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
Not at all.
Sure. Yeah, I just don't trust that, unfortunately. But yeah, that's absolutely wild. No, I'm excited. Pennhurst is just a wild spot. I'm trying to think if there's other things I could tell you about, because I'm sure your buddies tell you about things too. Did he ever say, like, what is there one particular place that he feels the most uncomfortable there? Has he ever mentioned, like,
oh no.
Okay, that'd be something
I could ask him though. He would definitely for sure
that'd be
tell
something
me.
I would definitely wonder, you know what I mean? Because being someone that's there all the time, I would imagine over time you probably get more comfortable being in that kind of a spot. Just kind of like me, I go to the Hockomock Swamp a lot. You know, you go to the same spot multiple times, it gets a little bit more comfortable. So I'd be interested to see if there's like one spot that even he to this day is like, you know, I don't like spending time in there, you know, because that'd be interesting to find.
Yeah, I could ask him and let you know for sure.
Yeah.
I have a question for you that made me just think of that.
Yeah.
When you go to Hockomock Swamp, do you get like a paranormal hangover when you come home and then wake up the next day?
Not particularly. I would say I lose the most energy, not so much after an investigation, but editing. Editing for sure. I've even told Jason that before.
That's strange.
Editing particular like dark videos, like when I edited Anawan Rock, or when I edited why am I blanking right now? Jason, please. Elkmont. When I edited Elkmont, like that video particularly, for whatever reason, like sometimes it'll just make me really tired. Like so much so, it could be like, say it's my day off. I'll do a workout in the morning. If I like spend time editing one of those videos, about an hour and a half in, I would just get really tired, and I would have to like stop, or I'd like literally fall asleep, you know. And then I'll have to get like some candy or some sugar or something sweet to kind of like pick me back up, and then I could go edit again. But like that's probably the only time I've ever had like paranormal hangovers where like a lack of energy or or energy draining or anything like that. Now, when I leave the Hockomock and stuff, not particularly. I would say once in a while, you know, Hockomock or other places in general, sometimes you'll have these feelings of like heaviness or something like that. You know what I mean? Just kind of like a little bit of what I was just at is still with me, kind of a thing. And if that's usually the case, then I'll usually like pray, because I usually try to pray before I go in and after. And then if I still have those kind of feelings, I'll pray more. And usually by the second time I pray, usually those feelings go away pretty quickly. So that I've pretty much had mostly, knock on wood, praise God, that nothing like following me home or anything like that I know of. Like as far as in my house. Now me and Jason talked about last week about something walking around in my yard. Now, which is creepy, but you know, as long as it stays out there, you know, I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, sorry, I'm babbling.
I think I missed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those who don't remember, it was right before I left to go to Tennessee to go on Tony's show the second time. That morning, out this window right here, that's actually open right now, it looks out towards like my side yard, which has a fence, has a little fire pit over there. It's like, all, you know, we've fixed it all up. So the camera kicks on because there's a moth stuck in the window, so it's like flying around. So it's a motion camera, so it turns on, it's starting to film that because the moth's flying around. Then all of a sudden in the yard, it starts on the other side of the fence. You can see what looks like kind of like legs, kind of looking type of, it looks like it's moving, kind of a thing. It walks through the fence and then just keeps on walking like towards my yard, and then just kind of like dissipates into nothingness. I've yet to post that video because I have to find it on my phone, but I do have it still, and I'll post it and stuff. But weird.
That's very crazy. Weird.
So I have to. That just reminds me of something I have to show you guys. So I got to find it. Hold on.
No worries.
happened on Thursday. It was on my Ring camera.
You caught something outside your front door?
No, inside the house.
Inside the house. That's even creepier.
I have a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it. You have a Ring camera.
I was gonna say I have. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So, oh my gosh. So I'll sum it up. So my ex-boyfriend and we had moved into my grandmother's house. He bought the house. And when I first moved in, I was really upset that, he was gone and my grandmother had gone into a nursing home and she couldn't be at her house anymore. It made me really sad, but I'd have these like really bad nightmares of something evil trying to get into the house, and I'd have my grandfather, who was passed away in the dream, trying to protect me and my grandmother from whatever evil was trying to get in the house. Now, flash forward to I move out, my ex-boyfriend gets a new girlfriend, and we all like talk. We're fine, we're friendly. And she moves in, and she'd always just have this weird feeling, and I never told her any of this. She'd had this weird feeling that a man would be standing outside on the screened-in porch and looking in the door and trying to get in. And she just always had this bad feeling. And then I eventually told her about my dreams that I was having. And then it was at least 3 times. She might still have the videos. I don't have them anymore. But she sent me videos. They have 2 dogs. And she sent me videos of the dogs like barking and snarling and growling and going insane over what appears to be nothing. They're looking at. There's something in the house. It is so wild. It's so weird. But to go back to the Ring camera, sorry, they had caught. It looked like a shadow figure man with a hat. And it kind of just, well, look at that comment. As soon as I say shadow figure, boom.
Yeah, he literally typed that out like a minute before you're about to say it.
Yeah, he is a wizard.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was like, oh my God, do you have this footage, this film? And I don't know what happened. They didn't have it saved, or they didn't have it or whatever. But they said that they saw this thing, shadow figure with a hat walk through, pass on the camera, and it looked like smoke and it kind of dissipated. So I was just dying that I didn't actually get to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The footage.
That's the worst. But yeah, that is creepy. That is definitely creepy. Absolutely. I think this pretty much sums it up. For those who couldn't see, that's a shocked face on the screen. He did have a question while we prepare for Jason's. Okay. He was asking about Sam and Kobe, whether their videos are because they're the most popular ghost hunters. I would say that's probably true based on views. But a lot of people say their videos are fake.
Yeah.
Let's say you, Laura.
Ooh, I personally don't watch them. I only ever heard of them because I'm a Exploring with Josh fan.
Yep.
And I know that he would have them on sometimes, but I'm pretty sure that he's kind of distanced himself from the whole, the fake, because there's definitely some other people that have been exposed as doing fake stuff. I kind of think they're probably fake or whatever, regardless of them being real. I don't like them because I've seen a clip of them doing something where they were somewhere and they were trying to speak to a spirit, and the guy was an alcoholic, and they had these girls with them, and they're going like, okay, let's do these shots and get drunk and talk to the alcoholic spirit. And I'm thinking, how disrespectful can you possibly be? It was just a joke to them. Yeah, and then I had seen this whole thing where this other YouTuber, Seth Borden, was with them, and they caught footage of them. Like, I guess the haunted house had a security camera and they knew about it, but the camera caught them saying all these like vulgar things and rude things about the owner, and they purposely just broke something of the owner's. So I was just, just lost respect. I'm just like, no. So I don't know. I don't know if they do anything that's real or not. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't, like you said, I don't know them that well enough, but I have heard that claim that they do fake stuff. And I did see one video where I was like, well, at least this one thing's fake. So, yeah, a lot of people unfortunately are like that. And he says, I knew it.
So, funny thing, you said the most popular YouTubers. I've never heard of them.
Really? Well,
No,
they're young, so they're
They're
more
so young.
they're
That's
more
another
like
reason.
Teenager kind of level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watch these other guys that are pretty young. It's called Twin Paranormal. Those guys are pretty awesome.
Oh, I watch them too, but they
Yeah.
get, to me, they're super entertaining, but they get a
Yeah.
lot of hate. They
Yeah,
get
they
a
do.
lot of hate, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
I like them.
I will say they did a Bridgewater Triangle episode, and they thought the Huckamuck Swamp was in the Freetown State Forest. So, I mean, they're wonderful people, but not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, okay. And then like someone tried to correct them on it, but like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, okay, sure,
Oh,
sure.
Okay, I'm ready with the footage if you guys want to see this.
Yes. Hold on, I'm gonna bring you up full
Okay.
screen.
I'm going to
Hold
turn
on.
this light off so it doesn't. Okay. So ignore this is toys laying in the hallway, right? So my office where I'm at right now, the door, see that doorknob? Can you see the doorknob right there? That's
Yes.
where I'm at currently in that
Okay.
room. So hopefully you should be able to see it.
I can
So
see
this
it.
is Godzilla.
okay.
It's reflecting my desktop on there. So that's Godzilla
Yeah.
laying on the floor, right? My son's toy.
Mhm.
So I'm going to hit play. I'm doing this all backwards.
It's hard. It's confusing
is
when you're
hard.
looking in the camera and you're,
Okay. So this is not so the ring, captures still images
Yeah.
unless it detects someone, right? So no one was detected on the ring, but watch what happens. Is it playing? There we go.
Yes.
Just wait for it. Are we sure it's playing?
I don't know.
I don't
You
think
tell
it's
me.
playing.
I don't
It's
see
not
anything
playing.
moving.
It's not playing. It's not playing.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go.
You got to hit play.
I'm trying. I can't. There. I just stopped it.
I think it was
Okay, here we
moving.
go.
Okay, go ahead.
See
Oh,
that?
No, yeah,
Mhm.
Just
definitely.
all of a
It
sudden,
moved-
just like it moves
out of
by
nowhere.
itself. Yeah,
That
like
is
with
really
no,
weird.
there's
Mhm.
nothing detected, no person detected, just moves
It is weird.
like one frame.
Yeah,
Play
it
it
moves.
one more
Yeah,
time.
I could see like it shifts.
yeah. That's weird.
See,
That is weird. Yeah, I
Hmm.
don't know what to make of that, man. That's
Have
weird.
you had anything else in your house happen?
no, and then here I'll play the whole thing so you can see. You'll see my daughter walk by it in a minute. Like it moves. Then my
Mhm.
daughter comes out of her room a few minutes later, and she walks by it with a cat. So,
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
creepy. And you've had some other stuff happen inside your house, so
oh yeah, it's been kind of crazy. A lot of stuff
holy
has happened.
mother of God, tinfoil crypt, the wizard says.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so I thought since I got rid of the voodoo whistle, I don't know if everyone knows about the voodoo whistle.
Yeah, the one you
I
buried.
think-
The one you buried in
the one I
a
buried, yeah.
nondescript location.
Did you
Yes.
bury it with salt?
I did not bury it with salt.
Come on.
I'm sorry, I'm new.
He was
at
trying to.
this.
He's trying to cut back on his cholesterol. He thought it
Yeah.
would affect him.
But I mean, everything is like really calmed down since I left the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't really had anything, and that's the first thing I've seen since.
Yeah. Interesting.
Was that? Well, of course, we had the breath sound.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
my microphone, and I wasn't breathing.
Mhm.
Yeah. But other than those few things, sometimes it'll sound like someone's walking up my stairs.
Hmm.
But I'll just chalk that up to our cats walking up the stairs. So I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to think that just so you just can sleep at night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's just the cats. And you look down there, the cats are laying on you. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, never mind.
Yeah.
Too
So
funny.
I don't know. I'll keep you posted. What
Yeah,
goes on with the
definitely.
Ring camera, because that was definitely weird.
Yeah, I would say so. That's definitely weird. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that is weird, especially the way it moves. So it's not like it moves slowly. It was just like it was one way, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden the next frame it's the other way. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
kind of
And I've
strange.
looked. I mean, that toy all day did not move at all
It's so strange.
That is weird.
until what time was that?
Yeah, what time was it? A specific time? Oh, obviously it was.
Yeah, it
Specific
was a
time. What time
specific
was it?
time. Hold on.
I was just thinking maybe it was like a
2:00.
correlation.
2:00 in the afternoon.
That is random.
So, I mean,
Oh, hold on.
on.
Sorry. Let me bring you up center
Yeah.
stage.
I'll just show you that. So, let's see if I can do this again. I'm not playing it. So, like right here, you can see it move. Right?
Yeah. And
So
it's, you know what? I also, you know what I noticed now I'm noticing too? It's the crate too at the same
the
time.
crate moves too.
Oh yeah.
It's not just the
That's
dinosaur, the
so
crate's
weird.
moving.
But now watch, if I
So
go
both
back,
of them move
if I go back-
simultaneously. Yeah.
go back in time. Let me see. Go back.
Doesn't move, doesn't move, doesn't move, doesn't move. It's not moving. The cat's moving.
Cats are
everywhere.
walking around. Yeah, nothing happens. So
You know,
I don't
and it's odd that the cat's not picking anything up either.
No.
You would think.
Yeah, if there was some yes, a spirit or something there, a lot of the times they will, react to that. Or
Yeah.
how many times you have your cat or animal and they're looking up at the corner of the ceiling or something.
Yeah.
You're like,
Mhm.
what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Please stop.
That freaks me out so bad. I'm just
Yeah,
like, okay, yep, it's a bug that I can't
Yeah.
see.
Oh yeah, and you're like, oh my god, thank God. When it's like a spider or if it's like like a fly or something, you're like, oh god, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know what's going on with that. It was very weird.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's see. Our buddy had another statement here. I think that one of the most rare cryptids is the wood devil, and they're scary. I mean, scary. Is in all caps. They're in New Hampshire. I don't think I've ever heard of the wood devil. I'm gonna
I
have to
haven't
look
either.
that up.
Yeah, definitely.
In the comments, please tell us what the wood devil is. What is it? What's the characteristics of a wood devil? I'd be interested to hear. That's interesting.
So he said voodoo. Also, I'm seeing that. So I don't know if he knows about I can quickly
whistle?
go over the voodoo whistle one more time.
Yeah.
People who've listened in the past probably sick of it because I've talked about it a lot. So my mother-in-law brought back a whistle for my kid, and I never really saw the whistle. I didn't even know she brought it back, and all of a sudden it appeared in my bedroom, and I was like, "What is this weird thing?" And I asked my wife. She's like, "I don't know what it is." And so I started doing some research, and it had like carvings on it, and we looked it up, and it was an African voodoo whistle. And we asked my mother-in-law about it because she went to Africa, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I picked it up at some like guy was selling it." And so a lot of like, I would say evil people, because not a good person, a good intentioned person would not sell something that they knew was bad. It's like probably someone who sold this with the intention of it going to someone's house and having a spirit attached to it. So anyways, a lot of weird things happened. We kept feeling something walk on our bed at night. My wife's
with little like stick legs, right?
stick legs, like walking on her bed. Yeah, my wife felt it. The bed would shake, would vibrate when my wife was in it by herself. One night I woke up and I heard her bedside table open and then shut, and she was asleep, so she wasn't doing it. Just a lot of weird things. So and then I buried it. The end.
Buried it, and then
without salt.
Yeah,
no salt involved, which I guess I'm a bad person for doing that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I would maybe go find it and just add some salt for good measure.
Okay.
But that makes me wonder what is somebody's intention to do that? Is that just, do they do they get something out of knowing that, oh, I'm sending this home with this person and it's gonna mess up their family? Or is it somehow psychically connected to them somehow or something that they're getting something, some kind of energy back, feeding off of it or something from your
Right.
terror,
Yeah.
basically?
Maybe,
right.
or they've made a bargain or a deal with, whatever entity, and, they have to do these sort of things.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
last time you were
Yep.
on, we talked about that, about the house and how maybe
Mhm.
that was kind of the case going on there where you guys
Yeah.
created. So,
And you weren't the first one to say that either. My friend said the same thing too, which I didn't even think of, which is very good. That's good thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes you wonder for sure what's going on with the whistle and all and stuff like that. Because any of those things are plausible for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it makes you wonder, and especially since I mean the proof's in the pudding. You took the whistle out of your home, and then all of a sudden all these things like stop happening.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something to that whistle. Obviously, probably nothing that we'll ever figure out because we don't know the intention of the person or what is really behind that whistle or whatever, or what
Yeah.
even it does. You know what I mean? God forbid your family blew that whistle in your home. What would have
Oh, I
happened?
know.
You know
I
what I
don't know. I
mean? Like,
mean,
does that open the gates in your home? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because like, if you get a whistle, I don't know. Like, if I bought a whistle, my first inclination would be to blow the whistle. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I'm just so shocked that none of your kids blew that whistle in your house.
I mean, they may have. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I was trying to find
Correct me if
some
I'm wrong.
info.
Didn't your kids say they didn't remember having it?
Yeah. Yeah. They did.
Which is another
Just
creep element. So just think
yeah.
about this. Jason's kid has no idea. They don't know what they're like, we don't know what this whistle is. And then all of a sudden it shows up on Jason's bureau or his
Yeah. Yeah.
dresser.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was
That's
it was
crazy.
wild. I'm trying to find a
You
picture
know what I
of
mean?
it
Like,
now.
where does that come from? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Did a spirit ghost attach to that whistle?
I
Get
don't
it
know.
out
I
of
mean,
one of the
that's
kids. You know what I mean? Like, where does that come from?
it's wild, man. I don't know how it got up there. Gosh, it's a lot of unknowns at
Yeah,
this
for
point.
sure.
I'm
I
trying
do
to find a
have
picture of it to show you
the
guys.
whistle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have another comment here. I can't read that screen name, but you all need to bless your house with some spiritual barriers. No doubt about that.
Yes.
And she said, he or she says, there are spiritual defenses you can set up. Ain't that the truth? That is for sure. And it's something I always like to harp on is like, you got to protect yourself and, obviously protect your home as well, because your home is your sanctuary. If you can't feel safe in your home, then, I mean, that's a horrible, horrible place to be.
Yeah. Definitely.
Do. Uh, he also, Tinfoil Wizard, it said it erased their memory.
I mean, it could have. Who knows?
Maybe.
I mean, that's a
Yeah.
possibility for sure.
And then I want to BLAWA 2022. It could be the land itself, which could be possible. Jason, didn't you have some paranormal stuff going on in your home prior to the whistle as well? Maybe not at the same extent.
Yeah, but it
some
wasn't to
weird,
the same extent. It was
but just some weird stuff.
Just some weird stuff, and like my son would say things that were very weird.
Mm.
Like about your
like
house specifically, right?
Yeah, about the house. Like he said, and this was when he was 9 or 10. I asked him, like, it was right when we started the podcast, and I asked him a question, like on video I was going to post on Instagram, and I asked him what scares him, like what, and he was listing off all these monsters and stuff, and he said, this was so specific. He said, when you walk upstairs late at night and you look in the kitchen and there's a lady there all in white holding a knife, that's very scary. I was like, what? Where did you come up with this? I know. I'm like, that's pretty specific.
That's very specific.
And we don't allow them to watch like horror movies or anything,
Right. It's like, is this something you're seeing now?
I know. But
does he remember that now if you said that was a couple years ago?
I don't know. I need to ask him. I want to say I have it like saved somewhere because we were at Dollywood and I asked him, like I was doing video for for the Instagram post, and there's like pumpkins and stuff behind it. It was at Halloween,
Right.
and yeah, it was very creepy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Oh.
Let me see if I can find this voodoo whistle. I'm going to go to Instagram because I didn't find it on my camera roll.
No worries. I do have an update about that wood devil. He has a little bit of a description here. Tinfoil wizard, a human-like cryptid that has one of the most scariest screams, and they blend in with trees. Interesting. Interesting. Human-like cryptid. I wonder if like a skinwalker kind of a deal. Maybe. But that's definitely creepy. The screaming part is definitely creepy.
Yeah.
And then the fact that if they do blend in with trees, that's even creepier. Let's see.
While you're looking for your picture, that reminds me of, I had a friend that went to some country in South America to do a missions trip. And she was kind of one of the guides, like the older people that helped be in charge of the younger, I don't know, I guess they were maybe teenagers or something. And they would want to bring, I remember, I think it was a bracelet or something that some kid was trying to bring back. And I guess she showed it to her or something. And my friend took it and put it in her hand. And she was like, no, you have to get rid of this. And I don't know how, like, I don't have an answer for how she knew, but she just knew there was something evil attached to it. And she made the girl get rid of it and throw it out. She said, you're not bringing this home with you. So that kind of stuff that really does happen.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like for sure that happens. So I found the picture in all its glory.
Oh boy.
Do you want to put me full screen, Phil?
Yeah, sorry, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you see, guys? Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
I did kind of turn it sideways.
Yeah.
So that's the whistle. I'm gonna play.
Yep.
Definitely hand carved.
Yeah.
For sure. Wow.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. And while I was looking at that, I was looking up voodoo whistle, and I was just looking at, and voodoo came up, and this is, I'm not even going to say this. I don't want to pronounce it just because it's some kind of a voodoo word.
Oh, yeah.
Haitian Creole and African diaspora religion. But like, if you see, like, this is just some random symbols. Oh, it's very bright. You probably can't even see it.
I can't.
No. But the symbols look very similar to what's carved on the whistle.
Yeah, makes you wonder. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, guys. No, sorry, guys. I'm just messing with the layout here. Okay. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, it makes you wonder blowing a whistle, does that have anything to do with opening up a portal or something weird like that? Because I did an episode on the Aztec death whistle, I don't know, quite a while ago. And we couldn't, my co-host Aaron and I, we researched it, but we couldn't, we found the history and stuff, but we couldn't really find out what exactly it was used for. So I don't know, it's just kind of strange. It makes me wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what was the original purpose of that whistle?
Yeah. And the Aztecs did stuff like human sacrifice and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes you wonder. I mean, even we the only way we would know is we'd have to talk to someone that had knowledge of that kind of stuff, of like that voodoo and that particular like kind of stuff.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, to find out like what the whistle is for and what what it's used for and the meaning of it, that kind of thing.
So I found a symbol, like a dark version, so you may be able to see it better.
The
but
symbol
it's
that's
very
on the thing.
well, it's not the exact symbol, but it's very similar. Like there's like a line, and then something goes up, and they have all these like things coming down from it on the whistle, but it's not the exact symbol, but you can tell kind of it's in the family.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't do like a reverse Google search on that and figure out like where it pops up in other spots.
I probably can, because I have the photo somewhere, and I can just put it like do an image search. But yeah.
I did pull up a picture of the New Hampshire wood devil. I'm gonna try to share this. Hold on 2 seconds, guys. New Hampshire, I've never done this before, so I'm trying this on the fly. And all right. It's probably just the wrong one. Sorry. I'm trying to share it. I got to share this one. If I could figure out how to do it. Sorry, Jason, you want to vamp a little bit while I try to do this?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So voodoo whistles.
Yeah.
What's the deal with voodoo whistles? Yeah, it's just weird. I was looking at more of the symbols, and I don't know. I can't find the exact symbol, but just there's a lot of symbols that have similarities to what was on that whistle. But yeah, it's weird. To go back to the idea of people selling these to kids. I mean, if you are a practitioner of voodoo, and a lot of I'm not going to say everyone who does voodoo is bad, because I don't know everyone that does voodoo, but it's not the greatest religion when you think of scales of good to bad religions, as in evil religions like Satanism would probably be the worst of the worst. But not saying there could be good Satanists out there. I'm just saying, but the religion is bad. The people could, they could be nice.
I don't understand when there's people that try to say that it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, but I've heard a lot of podcasts, like Tony's podcast, The Confessionals. He's had people on there who are witches and stuff. Really nice sounding people. Really nice and cordial. They're not attacking Tony for what his beliefs. I'm just saying that the religion is bad, but the people, they could be nice. I'm not trying to say that people are inherently the worst people I know. I don't know any of them, but okay. I'm
gonna get a lot of hate mail. I feel like.
Yeah, right. I did ask you to vamp.
Anyway,
so.
This is all Phil's fault.
Just trying to share this picture of this wood, whatchamacallit, whatever it is. Here he is. Can you see it?
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, I don't
creepy,
like that.
Right? Yeah,
right. He looks kind of like he would be affiliated with the Church of Satan.
This is one of their members. This is what, when I Googled members, this is what came up. But yeah, how creepy is that? Imagine that thing lurking around a tree screaming at you. I
know, that'd be weird.
And that's like someone's depiction of what they claimed it looked like, allegedly. So that's an actual sketch. So
the lips that go all the way up. That's a little unsettling.
Your dog just growled when you were talking about that.
That wasn't a demon or anything.
No.
Oh my
but I'm just saying that, we were talking about this, and just so is something there with you that we
the wood devil.
See? Yeah, that's kind of freaking me out.
Just talking about the whistle, the wood devil.
I know.
The dog's like, all right, we hang up.
Yeah.
We got some comments here. The whistle sound frequency could definitely relate to portals. So thinks BLAWA 2022. And they also had a thought about I think it's the wood devil, that it could be like Lilith. I don't know if I'm saying that word correctly.
It's Lilith, yeah.
Lilith. And then they had something else that said that they thought it could have been a hag as well. With the screaming, I'd imagine. But yeah, those are the comments that we have so far. But
so Lilith is an interesting thing because she is kind of associated with the forest. And I didn't really know much about. I mean, I knew there was, an entity called Lilith, but if you guys want to go back and listen to the confessionals, I can't remember. It was a few episodes back. Tony and see who all was it? Was it Juan and Joel on there? I think, or was it just Joel? Maybe it was just Joel. somebody else was on there with him. It's the guy from Appalachian Intelligence. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about too, because I listened to them.
I can't think of it. Okay, we'll just say Appalachian Intelligence and Joel and Tony were talking about Lilith, and man, it was pretty crazy. I didn't know a lot about Lilith until I heard them talking about it, but there's a lot to do with the woods and the forest and that entity. So yeah.
Okay, so I have this weird thing, and this is, I don't even know if I'd say this is a difference of opinion, because it's just kind of like a different thought that I've had, or because if I heard them correctly, they were trying to say that Lilith was the woman in white. And I had recently done a bunch of, and I'm not saying I'm correct, so don't take it that way, but I had done a bunch of research for a Christmas episode, and I had dug into paganism and all that stuff. And there was, like all the old scary things that they used to tell you for Christmas time, like years and years ago. And there was Frau Perkta, and she was this woman with like a splayed foot from spinning so much, and like spinning on a spinning wheel. And she would come, and if you didn't get your sewing and your knitting done and your spinning done, she'd come to your house, I think around the 5th of December or something like that, and she would slit your stomach up with a knife, and then pull your intestines out and fill your stomach with rocks and straw. But before like Catholicism took over, she was Frau Berkta, and she was basically known as this woman in white who was kind of like a savior mother type figure to lost children. So the pagans had her, from my understanding, she was kind of a good entity. And then when the Catholicism, Christianity took over, they kind of turned her into this evil Frau Perkta and made her into this bad image. So that's kind of where I had seen that, and I hadn't heard anything about Lilith being the woman in white, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it's the same entity, but just because, the pagans worshipped her sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So she was, to them, she was a savior, but, she was, against the Catholics or the Christians. And so she appeared as a different type of entity to them,
Yeah. And I mean, I'm Christian too, so I'm not trying to say like, whatever, but I just think it's interesting how it's, you kind of, if you look back in history and you see all this stuff is kind of taken from paganism and turned into, whatever else, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, definitely makes you wonder what's going on with all that. Are all those things the same thing? Are they different things that get confused as similar things? It makes you really wonder what's going on with all that kind of stuff, especially with the lady in white, because lady in white is a very common like haunt, and not even just like all over the world. There's stories of ladies in white. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a phenomenon that's been repeated over and over and over again. So it makes you wonder, are all the lady in whites connected? Are they all the same thing? Are they different thing? You know what I mean? What's really going on with that? Because there is definitely claims of lady in white all over.
And the world. Oh gosh, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I was pretty much done.
But what I think from, oh my gosh, it's driving me crazy. What is his name? Because I listened to their podcast from Appalachian Intelligence, but he was on there talking about, oh my gosh, like the like poltergeist in the woods, I think, or something. And I'm actually friends with Timothy Renner. He has that book, it's sitting right on my shelf. What is it called? where the footprints end. He has a whole chapter on women in white, and kind of what he was talking about kind of sounded like that chapter of the women in white, but kind of like he added Lilith to it from what I took from it. But
interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I'm gonna have to take a listen to that episode because I didn't listen to that yet.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting. I didn't even know about Lilith until today. So how about that?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No.
Oh, wow.
I was
So
telling Jason, we were talking about this actually last episode, how if you ever look at the cryptid map or like, cryptids around the United States, I looked at that map and I don't know half of them. You know what I mean? So it's amazing how many different entities, cryptids there are out there, and how even in my own state, I forgot about a whole other legend until someone reminded me in the comments. So there's a lot out there. So yeah.
Did you? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say Lilith is kind of weird. You probably, if you have heard of her, you've heard of her as Adam's first wife before Eve. That's the way she was portrayed for years and years and years. So, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
It's even more interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Another spin on it. Just when you thought we were done talking about it, like, oh, well, now there's a pre-Eve woman angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope I didn't say anything to make myself sound real dumb, because I don't know.
Well, don't worry about
dumb
it.
Stuff all the time.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
If I offended anybody, I'm sorry.
I was just, defending Satanists, so it's fine.
They're good people. Have you seen that little?
I just want to spell cast on me. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Did you see that little clip of the two gangster guys defending John Gotti right before he goes to prison or whatever? You know what I'm talking about? He was a nice guy.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They say he murdered people.
Yeah, they say, but
yeah. He's a nice guy. He's a great guy. Leave him alone. leave the Satanists alone. They say they murder people. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
But too funny.
Oh yeah.
Awesome episode. So.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know what half the time I don't even realize what I'm saying till I said it, and I'm like, what did I just say?
Yeah.
It is my fault. I did tell you to vamp when you weren't prepared to vamp.
Yeah,
So you're just grabbing stuff at random,
I was, And honestly, guys,
it's a man falling down, grabbing the curtains as he's falling down.
But to be honest, in general, I don't like to judge people, So I was just trying to, say, I'm not trying to judge you, but it came out all wrong.
Yeah, it was the highlight of the episode for me. So. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit more time finding this picture.
Oh man.
But no, this was a lot of fun though. This is a great episode. Awesome episode. Okay, how do we want to wrap this up? Do we want to talk? Do you have one more thing we want to talk about? Do we want to end this on some sort of story? Laura, is there anything else you wanted to talk about tonight?
I was just gonna throw Jason under the bus and say, let him go. Let's see what he's got.
Part 2. What do you got, Jay?
I can ramble all night.
I would love it. Let's.
What do you want to hear? Yeah. Tell me what you want to hear. I won't disappoint.
Oh my gosh.
So, one time, I don't know. Now I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss for words, which is rare for me because.
Yeah. Well, you said it all.
I was going to say, I think you said enough for the night.
I can say more. But gosh, I was listening to a podcast recently.
Yeah.
And
anything specific or?
Yeah. No, it ties in.
Okay.
There's just a lot of interesting stuff that like Anton LaVey was like involved in.
Oh,
Like with the space program and NASA, and I did not know a lot of that. But there's a lot of stuff that he like inspired with his like, well, I can't remember what they called it. Where he was opening portals and he saw the entity and he drew a picture of it and looks like a gray alien.
Yeah.
Well, like Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard did this thing called the Babylon workings in the desert, where they were trying to come up with like they were trying to open a portal also, but they used a lot of the stuff that Anton LaVey was doing, and it was wild, the stories they were talking about. It was just, maybe it was on the confessionals where I heard that last week. I can't remember. Anyways, but it was really good. A really good episode. Whoever talked about it, congrats for having a good episode.
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely.
That was just like, it blew my mind. They were talking about how I think Anton LaVey actually was part of the I want to say the UK government, or he had something to do with them also. And then when he started getting really deep into like Satanism and stuff, they like disavowed him and he wasn't part of it anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah, didn't they also call him the Beast? Anton LaVey, was that his nickname? I think.
I don't know.
That I don't know. That I
Okay.
don't know.
I'm gonna
I'm
look
not
that up
so
real
sure.
quick.
You know who we're gonna have to get back on? We're gonna have to get Tim back on because he worked at NASA.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
You were asking him about
Oh.
some questions about NASA, and I was like, we definitely got to have him back on for sure.
Yeah,
that
I
would
just
be-
listened to that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really cool to talk about him. Because the guy with firsthand knowledge. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
when you were talking about NASA, I just thought of him. Yeah, huge shout out to him for stepping up and being a co-host with you that week I was out.
Yep.
Huge shout out.
Do you guys listen to Into the Fray with Shannon LeGros?
I have heard a couple episodes.
So you were talking about Anton LaVey. Well, do you remember that episode that Tony had that pastor on where he actually took in Anton's daughter?
Yes.
Well, there's an episode, it's a couple of weeks back that Shannon had this guy on, and he mentioned kind of in passing about these people that took in Anton LaVey's daughter and adopted her. And I was like, holy crap, I just heard that whole story, everything. And then I had messaged Shannon on Instagram and I emailed her, but I sadly have not heard back from her because I said, you should really go listen to Tony's episode because this totally relates.
Yeah.
Which was just wild. Kind of confirmed the whole thing.
Right. That's always interesting when you have those like two
Mhm.
different sources. Yeah, that's some things you're like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also, I think the thing with the person in the UK government, that was not Anton LaVey. That was the guy in Europe that was like a Satanist leader over there. I'm trying to think of his name. I'll look it up. Anyways, Anton LaVey's daughter looks just like T Swift, so that's kind of weird, right?
Oh, I did hear those conspiracy things about that. Yeah.
Oh, no, legit, she does.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, looks just like her. It's kind of freaky.
Freaky Friday.
What is her name? I don't know. Oh my gosh, they're back.
Yep.
What is that guy's name from UK? I'm looking it up.
While you look that up, Tinfoil said No Face Charlie is real. I'm not sure. It must be an entity or something.
Aleister Crowley, that's who it was.
Oh, Aleister Crowley.
Yeah,
yep,
in the UK.
That's right.
Yeah.
Take a picture.
Yeah,
with
he
him.
was part of the UK government and all that. So
yeah, he was a famous wizard or warlock, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
He tried to do all kinds of stuff. He had a mansion in Newport, Rhode Island, actually, which is near me.
that's crazy.
Yeah, like an underground like vault in there that people couldn't get into, or something like that.
That's so weird, man.
Yeah.
You need to go check it out. You go investigate. Like no one could get into it. Like even after, like they've tried to get into it and no one's been able to.
I'm trying to remember where I heard the story. I don't remember where I heard the story, but I do remember hearing that story somewhere. And yeah, something about that when someone tried to go in there and go check it out, they couldn't access this one area, particular area, because yeah, he built the whole house mansion and stuff and built it very specific. You know what I mean? Specific rooms, specific, just odd layouts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on to YouTube, oh yeah, that's definitely she looks. Even the red lipstick too.
Yeah, and you see, it's kind of hard to see, but yeah.
Now you said you were going to show us a picture of the girl, not Taylor Swift.
Oh, sorry. I'm on here. You still can't get a good
view of her
in here. I know. I know you were.
Oh. What I was gonna say was if on YouTube, Exploring with Fighters, they have a video
Oh yeah.
where they go into Crowley's house.
Mm-hmm.
Which is I know I've seen it, but I don't even remember
it's been
what
so
it was
long.
about. Yeah.
It's been so long.
That's far back there.
I love Exploring with Fighters. They're so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exploring with Josh, Exploring my Fighters are definitely my two top exploring. All right, one more comment here. If you make a second channel, it would be called Paper Bag Warlock.
I like it.
I love it. Tinfoil, paper bag. I love it.
Yeah.
He's our buddy. He was here the whole time. You got to give him credit. Tinfoil Wizard. Used to be known as Anti-Nintendo. No longer.
Yep. What is that? There's one of the Exploring with Fighters. He's the guy from the US. But I guess he lives in the UK now. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Andrew.
Andrew, yeah, he has a channel. He does some really cool stuff with like he does a spirit box, but he does it manually. Like he just has a radio and he goes to the channels. It's pretty cool.
I love that. I think that's the coolest thing because I remember Dan was saying that he gets a lot, Andrew gets a lot of hate from that. But I'm like, I think that is so cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. That was like before Spirit Box came out. I remember a few paranormal people doing that on TV way back when.
Really?
Yeah, before Spirit. Yeah, because I forget who did it. Maybe it was someone that was with Chip Coffee on one of those like paranormal shows or something.
Paranormal
I saw
State?
someone do it. Probably.
Yeah.
It might have been Paranormal State or one of those ones they did after or something. But yeah, I did see that long time ago. But that is a cool angle and definitely very, very unique. So yeah, huge shout out to him.
Yeah, and shout out. I'm just shouting out everybody. Shout out to the shout out. But no, Exploring with Fighters. If you ever listen to this, if you happen upon it, I'm going to tag you in this episode. But if you happen to listen to this point, you need to come on our show. I would love to talk to you guys. I've
been meaning to email him.
Yeah.
And see, just for the heck of it, just try.
Yeah,
and
why not?
You kind of live close to Josh, probably, Phil.
Yes.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do a video with Josh. Yeah, especially in the Huckamuck Swamp or Freetown State Forest, Bridgewater Triangle. So fingers crossed that will happen in the future.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. And of course, fingers crossed about Pennhurst as well before we wrap up. I don't want to forget about that because that would be an incredible investigation.
Yeah, I just got to work out all the logistics.
Even see Tinfoil Wizard. Yes. So that he says it all right there.
Yeah. I just don't, I don't know how much time I have off work. And my daughter's birthday is September 7th. I mean, there's so many things right around there. I don't know.
Well, I do have another thing that I'm trying to work on that I can fill you guys in on too.
Ooh,
I definitely wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. This is an exclusive.
Yes. Secret.
Oh, do we need to talk about it after the show ends?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
You said it was a secret.
Well, if it is a secret, yeah.
Yeah.
Not really, but
okay.
I need to use this soundboard more. Okay, what's the secret?
Oh, okay. Well, all right. No,
we don't have to. I'm just saying.
No, I'm trying to get a group of people to go to Wilson Castle up in Vermont.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's the owner or not, but he gave me his cell phone number, and said I could call him or text him, whatever. And I have a whole paper full of dates that they have open and stuff like that. And I got the prices and all those kind of things. I got the details.
That's cool.
Awesome. No, that's awesome. I've heard about that castle the first
Yeah.
time this year actually. I was in
Oh, yeah.
I was in a convention in Plymouth, and I don't know if it's the guys that do paranormal investigations there or a group or something. They had it advertised, and I was like, "Oh, what's
Mhm.
this?" And so that's the first time I ever heard about it. But yeah, apparently it's a really cool spot with a lot of paranormal activity. So yeah,
Yeah.
that would be really sick. And that's right up my alley. That's right in New England. So
Yep.
I
yeah,
love New England.
yeah, let me know because I could probably join you on that for sure.
I definitely want to get some people to go to Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary because that place
Never heard
is
of that.
crazy. Are you really?
No.
Oh my gosh, you got to look it up. It is called the Alcatraz of the South.
Oh boy.
It is insane. James Earl Ray, the person who assassinated Martin Luther King Jr. was there.
Oh, jeez.
And it is crazy.
Do you want a random side note at Mid Orange? I didn't know this until I got to Mid Orange, but the guy, I don't want to say it's not DeFeo. Is it the Amityville?
Oh yeah.
Who murdered his whole family?
Oh God!
I think it is DeFeo. Yeah, I think
he
so.
was imprisoned in Mid Orange, and then they kind of would because it's close to New York City, kind of, and then they would rotate them through prisons because they didn't want people to know where they were and stuff. But he was actually in prison there for a while, or even his whole term or something like that. But I was like, holy crap, what a link to that.
Yeah, right. Seriously, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's wild. Makes you wonder if he's still there.
Yeah. Sorry, totally derailed you.
Oh no, that's fine. But yeah, look up. Like I said, it's Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. I can't State Penitentiary, but it's insane. It's been on a lot of ghost hunting shows. It was most recently on. I cannot think of the name of the show. I'm bad about thinking of names of things, especially tonight. But it was a more recent show on. I think it was on Travel Channel, or is it the Travel History? But it's like this brother and sister and their friend, and then they have a cameraman, and they go to all these haunted places.
Destination Fear.
Yes. They went there, and they caused some really crazy stuff. But it's really famous. Like I said, there's been a lot of people there. Like almost every ghost show's been there, I think. But it's now they've kind of renovated parts of it, and they have a brewery there and a music venue. But they still keep the back. This cell part is still available for ghost hunts. They you pay and you can go do a tour, or you can rent it out all night and go. And but I think there's one place you can't go because it's so active, and a lot of people have been scratched and pushed down.
Wow.
And yeah, it's crazy. I'm saying it's next level. When I thought of, when you were talking about Pennhurst, this place is on par with Pennhurst, if not better than Pennhurst. So, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Something to look forward to.
Yeah. And of course, there's always Elkmont. I'm going to renovate Elkmont and ruin it. I'm serious.
Oh, really? Well, they kind of already did already.
Well, they haven't like completely renovated it, but they're preserving it. But I'm afraid it's because it's getting a lot more attention, and I don't know. I just don't want them to mess it up.
Yeah. That's always the sucky part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Feels like it's like a race against time almost to go to these places and experience them before they're gone.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of places have already gone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But what an episode. Awesome episode. A lot of laughs, a lot of cool discussions about a lot of different things. We talked about Pennhurst. We talked about Jason, I'm not even going to mention what he talked about, but we talked about a lot of different things.
I sneezed.
Jason sneezed live on air.
I was trying.
21 second mark.
I couldn't mute it fast enough. I was like, oh, I looked over the mute button. I was like, I can't.
Yeah. Well, Laura, we appreciate you being on. Why don't you tell people where they can find your podcast and all the things that you're going to be doing? Obviously, you told us about a lot of the investigations you're going to be doing, but where can people find you and find your work?
You can find my podcast basically on any podcatcher, Apple, Spotify, all that stuff. I have an Instagram account. It's midnight_in-the-mountains. And you can also email me. I really would like to get people's true paranormal stories. Or even if you have a topic idea or something, you could email me at midnight_in-the-mountains@yahoo.com. And that's about it.
Awesome.
Not to say anything, but I may have some stories I could tell.
Okay.
If you ever wanted a guest, because I'm
yeah. If you like anything you heard tonight, he's got a lot more of that.
No, I bring it in. I try to be a little more serious when I'm on other people's shows. But there's a lot of stuff that's happened, in my past, from my childhood growing up. But yeah, a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Jason, why don't you tell everyone where they can follow AFK and all that, and I'll sign us off and I'll get the music queued up.
All right, guys. You can follow us wherever you use social media. We're pretty much everywhere, except maybe we don't use all the social medias all the time. We're on TikTok, but I rarely post on there. We're on X. I almost said Twitter. We're on X, and I post there maybe once every 3 years. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, that's the best place to find us. But if you want to reach out wherever you do social media, maybe we'll see it.
I will see it. So don't worry about it. I'll see it. I'll make sure to repost it.
Yeah. But guys, yeah, thanks. If you're watching, or if you're listening on the podcast, then you're missing some of these live things that we're talking about. So make sure to check out the YouTube for all the video. But yeah, thanks again for I can't talk. I'm so jacked up on Mountain Dew. I don't know. Which is the funny thing. Okay, before we leave. So I went to a wedding this weekend, right?
Oh no.
And the worship leader of my church, I'm part of the worship band, and he was getting married
5.5 hours away from
5.5 hours away from here. So one of his best friends is the kid from Talladega Nights that says, I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey. That's he was in the wedding. So I got to hang out with that kid. Yeah.
Very random.
So that's when I said that, I was like, oh yeah, I just met that guy.
Yeah. That's going to be a very strange experience.
Yeah. He was taking pictures with some people.
I can't believe you didn't lead off with that.
I know. I should have.
You waited till 1 hour and 33 minutes to tell us.
Yeah. Sorry.
I love it. No, that's exactly how the show is. So
yeah.
Thank you guys for watching another episode of AFK. We will see you next week.
Peace.